Royals are back to their winning ways at home, thanks to a rejuvenated offense with some power and a familiar-looking shutdown bullpen. All of that and James Shields are ready for the Houston Astros next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you with blue skies over Kauffman Stadium, over Kansas City, and over the Royals after winning the final 2 games with Minnesota. Now a 3-game series begins with the Houston Astros. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Welcome to Royals baseball, and it's a special night tonight as we have our annual Royals broadcast auction to benefit Royals charities, and we'll be talking about some great items up for auction all night. It's also a big night because Big Game James will be taking the mound, and he has not won in over a month. Not because of the way he's pitched. He is 0-4 in his last 6 starts. His ERA is under 3, but the Royals have scored a total of 9 runs when he has been in the game over those last 6 starts. Let's bring in Rex Hudler, and even though that ERA is so small, Hud, over his last 6, a lot of those runs come in the first inning.
That's right. 11 first-inning runs James Shields has allowed. Not that he's not trying. I mean, he's going out there trying to execute his pitches, but just so happens they get those runs, and then he shuts them down the rest of the way. However, to help these guys continue their winning streak, because I'm going to say 2 games really is a streak, actually 3 is, he's got to do all he can to get out of that first inning without giving up any runs. Keep the momentum on their side. Use that defense that he's so good with. He's got pitches that work down in the strike zone. Everything conducive to ground balls. That's what he wants to do.
And the Royals offense scored 7 runs last night against Minnesota.
What a beautiful sound. We knew it would happen. The valley was deep and a little bit longer than we were hoping for, but they finally found a bus driver. All aboard, says Lorenzo Cain. I can help you put up some instant runs, take the pressure off of the back end of the bullpen, and cruise into that series victory. It was sweet.
And Houston has some power, too. When they took 2 out of 3 from the Royals a couple of road trips ago, 8 of their 12 runs came from a home run.
Annual broadcast auction on Fox Sports Kansas City, and it's our chance to raise thousands of dollars to the folks that we help. Good evening, folks. I'm Toby Cook. I'm the Vice President of Community Affairs and Publicity for an organization that I love, and one of the great things about the organization is that we help people in the community and throughout the Midwest. The guys have been nice enough to turn a portion of this telecast over to us so we can raise some money and auction off to you some unbelievable experiences. Royals Charity since 2013 has raised about $7 million and given at least that much away in free tickets and other memorabilia to support folks. And really the neat thing is when we can involve our players. You've seen these pictures here throughout our time, from Operation Blessing, which took place a few weeks ago, to Alex Gordon, who posed with the honorary Batgirl in the fight against cancer, to last September when Danny Duffy and former Royal Brian McRae helped with a Habitat for Humanity build in a Royals neighborhood that we just furnished a couple of weeks ago. Royals Charities is really making an impact in the community for children, for families, for youth baseball and softball, the military, and whatever else we want to help with, and you can make that happen. We've got a great list of folks that we're going to be, great list of experiences that we're going to be auctioning off, and our Royals wives and girlfriends, significant others, are standing by in our call center. We have, among others, Katie Butler, Katie Francoeur, Lacey Holland, Caitlin Davis, Jenny Guthrie, Nicole Johnson, Mary Potter, Bruce Chin's fiance, and more. You'll hear from Mary a little bit later on this year's broadcast auction on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play the Powerball and Mega Millions Scratchers game to win $100 grand or more. By your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-AT. Rethink possible. And tonight's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. The Houston Astros are in last place in their division. They are 17 games below 500, but Bo Porter's team has won 8 of their last 11, and they have won their last 6 road games. So they come into Kansas City feeling pretty good, and they've already taken 2 out of 3 from the Royals earlier this year. So here's the lineup tonight, and one guy that isn't there is Jose Altuve, who has been out the past couple of games with a groin strain. And the one impressive number for the Astros offensively would be home runs. But most of their home runs come at home. And the Royals got a taste of that during that 3-game series in Houston. And for the second time this year, they'll be facing James Shields.
Okay, hopefully it's the same James Shields that pitched against them before, minus the 3-run homer early. Okay, he's got to be able to stay away from early runs. He's given up 11 first-inning runs in his starts. However, he's been excellent, though. He's worked at least 6 innings in 26 straight starts since last year in July. You know what you're getting from James Shields. He's going to eat up some innings, sinker down, great changeup, occasional breaking balls to keep him honest, and he's got passion and energy. Defending behind him. 9th start at third base this year, Miguel Tejada. Now, usually Moose gets the right-handers, and once in a while Tejada gets the lefties, but Ned's switching it around a little bit, going with the veteran Tejada against his former team. Hopefully it works out.
And Tejada was with the Astros in 2008 and 2009 and hit a 3-run home run when the Royals were in Houston a couple of road trips ago. Brandon Barnes will lead off. And this is a Rex Hudler type of a guy. Brandon Barnes was drafted in 2005 as Shields opens the game with a strike. He didn't make it to the big leagues until 2012, so that would be parts of 8 minor league seasons and almost 3,000 minor league plate appearances before he got to the big leagues.
Beautiful. That means he's ready. He knows how to play the game. Now you use my name in there with him. Hey, look, that's a compliment to me, not so much for him. But this guy, he's got a lot going on for himself. He's amongst the top in a lot of categories for rookies this year.
He was not in the lineup when the Astros faced James Shields in Houston, and now he goes the other way and drops it into the sunlight in right field. And so the Astros begin the series with a base hit to right field, and we go out beyond the wall in right field to Joel Goldberg. Hi, Joel.
Let's talk a little bit about James Shields here. And interesting, he's one of 16 pitchers in the month of May in baseball to have 4 losses, but he's the only one with an ERA under 3. We all know the story now. He just hasn't had the run support. Opponents in that stretch batted .226 against him. In his last 6 games pitched, that goes through June 1st, a 1.84 run support average. That's run scored for him when he's in there per 9 innings. Talking to Elliot Johnson, Ryan, his former teammate in Tampa, does this bother him at all? And he said it won't bother him. He lives for these close games, lives for the big situation. And remember, he told me the Rays were known for pitching, not offense. He's been through this before.
All right, Joel. And, the thing about James Shields, when he says things like, well, I'm not getting a lot of run support, but I don't care. I just need to pitch better. He means it. Some guys will say things like that when the red light's on the camera or there's a microphone in front of him. But with James Shields, you feel like it's genuine, that he's not blaming the offense one bit.
He's a veteran, and he understands the nature in a clubhouse and the camaraderie between the players, hitters, pitchers, and that would spread poison in there. And that's not a good thing in a clubhouse to get on your offense. He knows better. Roll up a little ground ball double play here, make him feel good.
And it's a little soft roller out to Tejada. His play is to first base. He looked at second. So Barnes moves up, and Crow is out number 1. So here's the start that HUD was talking about back on May the 22nd. And he gave up the 2 runs in the first inning. And nothing after that. No walks, 7 strikeouts over 7 innings. And coming to the plate right now is Jason Castro. And you might remember the 2-run home run that J.D. Martinez hit, but how about the base hit before the home run?
Oh, excuse me. Let the bat go. Look, he looks at his hand like he's blaming it on his hand. That's a beautiful hit, but that really kept it going.
Sharply hit to Hosmer. Shields to the bag. That's out number 2. Barnes moves up to third base.
Great awareness by Hosmer. He wanted to take it himself. He's a very aggressive first baseman. He's a tremendous athlete,
And it helps a lot of the pitchers. They really don't have to get over there. But this time, James Shields got a great break. And he gets over there. And so he says, look, I'm not going to beat him. I'm just going to feed you. He's keeping an eye on that runner. Both looking at that guy at third base, Barnes.
So here we go, just like that start against the Astros on May the 22nd. J.D. Martinez comes to the plate with a man on. And back on May the 22nd, Martinez hit a 2-run home run.
He did, and it was on a pitch that was up and away. And the kid, instead of trying to pull it, he went with it. And that's a nice launching pad in right field in Houston. Got him started. Hopefully we don't see that here.
2-0. Martinez now in 2 seasons against the Royals has done quite well. 19 at-bats, 8 hits, including that home run. So that's a batting average of .421. So I would think the Royals spent a little extra time trying to figure him out in the pregame meetings tonight. And so far the approach has been don't throw him a strike. 3-0.
I don't think he's intentionally pitching around him here, but he's being careful. First innings are really a hard inning for all guys. Whether you're young or old, you want to gauge what your pitches are doing early. Sometimes you're not sure.
And a cut fastball is just outside. So there you go. James Shields has given up 27 runs this year. 27 earned runs, that is, and 11 have come in the first inning. So at times he is like a slow moving train where it takes him a while to get going, but once he gets going, nothing stops him.
These guys were former teammates. Pena likes to pull the ball, and he's a very patient hitter. He's 1 for 3 lifetime against James. James can go hard sinkers away from him. And some kick curveballs.
No swing.
That's Brian Gorman behind the plate tonight. He's in his 22nd year as an umpire. He's seen a lot of balls and strikes. Seen a lot of those too, check swings.
His father was a National League umpire, Brian Gorman, for 26 years. Tom Gorman. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are a few major league umpires in the history of the game, and Brian Gorman's father is one of them, who not only was a major league umpire, but was also a major league player. His father played for the New York Giants and wore the number 9 when he was an umpire, just like his son Brian does now as the home plate umpire, and he is the crew chief. Pena out in front, and Shields is ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Shields is not going to give him anything inside there. He's going to work him off the plate.
So a 4-pitch walk, and Shields puts it back together quickly and strikes out Pena.
Hey, that's going to get it done. No runs. Advantage Royal.
stretch, hitting with runners in scoring position. But in the final 2 games against Minnesota, they were 8 for 20 with runners in scoring position.
And that's what we were used to early in the season before they went into that deep, long valley. This guy, Lyles, he helped keep him in that valley because he's really tough. He's been their most reliable starter. And he's just a 38th round pick by the Astros is all in 08 too. So you never know what you're going to get, but you will know what you're going to get from this guy. Heavy sinking fastball, not overpowering, but he's going to get, he might reach 93. Slider, big curve, and changeups. And he'll throw changeups to lefties mainly. This goes away from him.
And his first pitch is outside, ball 1 to Alex.
Okay, when we were going over our lineups, we saw Ned go down and talk to the grounds crew. We never see that. Obviously, James Shields had an issue with the mound, and that perked up Ned, and Ned went down there and talked to him. Those guys are always on hand. But he's saying something about the mound. Might be a little wet. Could be damp.
Three and one. Well, I don't know what you do about a wet mound if, in fact, that's the case. But I guess if we were in Japan, HUD, there would be 500 guys that would come out with sponges and buckets, right, and try and dry the mound off?
Actually, about 250.
250, okay.
Yeah. Not quite 500, but there was a bunch of them.
Alex hits it hard the other way, but, I mean, he hits it right at Martinez, who hardly had to move. So we know Martinez is in left. Here's the rest of the Astros defensively tonight.
Okay, the Astros, they haven't exactly fielded the ball like Bo Porter has liked. For them, they have 40 errors. That's 2 more than the Royals. But the back catcher, Jason Castro. The base runners have had a field day on him. 31 stolen bases against. But, however, he's learning. And you don't steal off of him, you steal off the pitchers. But he can hit. I like his bat.
2-0 on Hosmer. Now, he had 3 hits in the Minnesota series, but 2 of them were extremely important. He had a double late in the game last night, which helped set up the tying run. And then he had the RBI in the 8th inning that started the 4-run inning, and the Royals ran away with a 7-3 win. He's out on a ground ball to Cedeno for the second out in the first inning.
Wasn't the 2-0 hack he wanted. I don't think the location was really where he wanted it. He was guessing, and he got a little something down, a heavy sinker down away from it. And that's what Lyles does. He's successful when he's getting outs on the ground.
0-1 on Salvador Perez, who has taken to the number 3 spot just fine. Had 2 RBIs in the Minnesota series. Royals have used 6 different hitters in the number 3 spot. And that is not something you normally attach to a good team. A good team has a guy that hits third pretty much the whole season. Maybe someone else will mix in here or there. But a third of the way into the season, and 6 guys have batted third. 6 guys have led off. Those are 2 very important positions that need to be stable.
And if I was from the outside and I saw that, I would say they've had some offensive issues. Typically those spots are all secured before the season even starts. And Ned wanted it that way. He named Moustakas the number 4 hitter almost midway through spring training. I mean, he announced that pretty early. And I was a little bit unsure about that at the time because Moose is such a young hitter. I mean, he didn't quite have the experience needed to bat in that prominent position in the big leagues.
That is not a swing. That is Manny Gonzalez umpiring at first base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We were talking about James Shields pitching against the Astros. Well, he went up against Jordan Lyles, who ended up being the winning pitcher back on May the 22nd. And he pitched well, giving up 1 run in 6 innings. Shields gave up 2 runs in 7 innings. And Houston won that game 3-1. And now Sal comes back from 0-2, and he will walk with 2 outs. So 6 innings, and that's a mountain of innings for Lyles. As well as he has pitched this year, he has respectable numbers, but he doesn't give the Astros many innings. He's only averaging a little over 5 innings per start, and he's only gone 6 innings in 2 of his starts this year, one of them against the Royals.
So get him while he's in there. Why not? Salvador Perez, just his 5th walk all season. That's nice. He was selected. You see that up there? Salvi was eyeballing. That was a nice plate appearance. You know, most of the time, Ryan, in this game, you're either a hacker or you're not. It's hard to learn plate discipline. However, you can, but in very few circumstances do you see that. Most of the time, you're either one or the other. And you find out when you start taking your walks how much more confident you feel and how you can milk the pitcher. You know, he's going, wow. Typically he swings at that. I'm going to have to come in earlier in the count next time, because Salvi's kind of setting him up for his next at bat.
Billy had 6 hits against Minnesota, and he walked twice. So he was on 8 times in the 3-game series, and he drove in 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. You know, and on the topic of walks, I've always felt that's a misunderstood statistic. In that I think some people believe if you have a high on base percentage and you walk a lot, that hitters are going to the plate trying to walk. Good hitters walk because they know the strike zone and they have the discipline not to swing when a pitcher's not going to throw them a strike.
I agree.
I mean, you don't have bad hitters that get a lot of walks.
You hit when you are in the spot like that one there. You can't do anything. He hit that right on the nose.
2 lineouts to the outfield for the Royals in a scoreless bottom of the 1st.
That's a signed jersey from Carl Yastrzemski. Up until last fall, the last major leaguer to hit the Triple Crown. Then Miguel Cabrera for the Detroit Tigers did it right here at Kauffman Stadium on October 3rd. And both of these jerseys are available tonight in the annual Royals Charities broadcast auction. Toby Cook here in Rivals, where we continue to sell these bids. We've got some bids right now for several different experiences, including those 2 jerseys, Miguel Cabrera and Carl Yastrzemski, the 2 Triple Crown winners. Hey, and we're throwing this in right now. This is a game-used baseball from that game back in October that Cabrera officially became the first Triple Crown winner since 1967. Guys, back to you in the booth.
All right, thank you, Toby. So you're talking 45 years in between Triple Crowns, and Miguel Cabrera, in reference to the ball that Toby was talking about, he clinched it here. And the fans came out to watch that final game of the season. The Royals had a huge walk-up crowd. And Cabrera said when the season was over, and you can imagine all the thrills that he experienced last year. He won the Triple Crown. His team went to the World Series. But when he looked back and reflected on his season, one of the highlights for him was getting a standing ovation on the road from Royals fans when he clinched the Triple Crown. So what a great item that is to have jerseys spanning 45 years. Good luck trying to get a framed Carl Yastrzemski jersey these days.
Oh, there's no chance. But you can here. Just go online or call. The wives are standing by, aren't they?
You're looking at me like you want me to pick up the phone.
I need a phone number. What are we going to tell the folks to call?
3-1 on Chris Carter. He has 12 home runs to lead the Astros. He also has 87 strikeouts. 3 balls and 2 strikes, and the 87 strikeouts leads the league. And he will take a leadoff walk. Now, HUD mentioned that James Shields may have been talking about some issues that he had with the mound. And the Royals grounds crew came out in between innings, and they worked very hard on the mound. So I think your assessment was correct, because the only reason they put that stuff on the mound would be to dry it up.
That's right. And James Shields, that's how he makes his living out there, and he knows. He's towed that slab at many ballparks across America, and he understands. Now, there's no complaints. He just said, hey, thanks a lot, fellas. I need a little bit of toe hold there.
Ronnie Cedeno drops down a bunt, and a good one, and Tejada makes a nice play. So instead of a bunt base hit and 2 on and nobody out, with Tejada's play, that's a sacrifice, moving Carter up to second base.
Now, Bo Porter playing a little bit of National League Baseball this year. He lets his guys do little things. Now, that play by Miguel Tejada was a nice play. He picked it up barehanded and got rid of it quickly with something on it.
And that is an extremely difficult play that some third basemen make look very easy.
You're right.
Here's Matt Dominguez. Dominguez had a big 3-run home run against the Royals in that series in Houston. He has 9 home runs this year. And after the Royals were swept in Oakland, they went to Houston, and the feeling was then, and it stayed with the Royals for a long time, Royals just need a big hit. And Miguel Tejada had a big 3-run home run in game 1 of that series to put the Royals in front. But in the very next half inning, Matt Dominguez hit a 3-run home run, which immediately erased Tejada's. And that ended up being the game-winning RBI as Houston went on to win 6-5. Pickoff play second base, and close. Getz sneaking in from the right side.
Okay, Shields very good at picking off around the bases, especially at first base. He's not afraid. Throw one away or not be aggressive.
Matt Dominguez, a high school teammate of Mike Moustakas, Chatsworth High School in Southern California. And they were both drafted in the first round the same year. Dominguez went to the Marlins and then was traded to the Astros in a deal that involved Carlos Lee. Moustakas that year was the 2nd overall pick. And that's through the left side. Carter will be held at third. And so Dominguez has a 1-out single, and the Astros have runners at the corners.
All right. Pitch down and out over the plate. It was a little bit on the outer half. Dominguez, he leaned into it. Just found the hole. He was off balance. As a changeup, you see that nice, beautiful, slow motion camera. Ball is down. He leaned into it, found a hole. Stayed back with his hands and let them do the work.
So here's the number 9 hitter, Marwin Gonzalez. He played at shortstop for the 3 games in Houston as Ronnie Cedeno was out. He is at second base for Jose Altuve. We mentioned is having an issue with a groin strain. And he takes ball 1.
You know, that's not a bad thing either for the Royals that Altuve's not in there. He's a pretty good ball player. And I also mentioned how Bo Porter likes to play that National League brand of ball. This kid hitting right here, Marwin Gonzalez. He's number 1 in sacrifice bunts this year with 7. He won't be sacrificing here. He's going to try to get some elevation on one, sac fly, or find a hole. James wants him to hit ground into one. Double play.
That is slashed foul off the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carter walked. Cedeno dropped down a bunt to get Carter to second, and then Dominguez single to left. So the Astros have 4 base runners in the first 2 innings against James Shields. And they stranded 2, the Astros did in the first inning.
He looks a lot like Carlos Pena in the face. I had to do a little double take. I go, that's not Pena. Working it down.
And a ground ball to Escobar. Steps on second, double play. So those 4 base runners in the first 2 innings have produced no runs. And we have no score.
Run power last night, and you might be able to get a Lorenzo Cain bat and many more in the Royals Charities broadcast auction. The item is Royals lineup of bats, and there will be 18 bats signed and authenticated. That means that they've been authenticated, have been used, and signed by these players from Escobar, Cain, Dyson, Butler, Moustakas, Francoeur, Getz, Perez, Tejada, Johnson, Hosmer, Kataris, Gordon. Plus, since we're playing a lot of interleague ball this year, the whole rotation, they signed them too. So that would mean Davis, Guthrie, Shields, Santana, and Mendoza. And an added bonus, and I would say this is a big one, a George Brett autographed bat too. So nice little collection to bid on there, guys.
That would look pretty good in the basement, wouldn't it?
Shoot, yeah, I love that royal blue pin. The ink on that pin, that's beautiful. You don't see a lot of bats signed by royal blue.
And especially a collection like that. There are other places where you could perhaps, with a team, get that many bats, but you'd have to bid for each one individually. In this one, you get the whole group. Nice sliding attempt in right field by Crow. But fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
All right, Lorenzo Cain, he got him a cookie. He got him one on the upper middle half, and he just rode it out. It was a blast, and it was so loud, Ryan. It scared me up here. We hadn't heard that sound in such a long time. It was like, wow. I mean, that's a literal shock the house, and that ball put a dent in the wall back there by the bullpen.
Two balls and 1 strike.
You know what's so great about today is that, you know, the Royals charity, the broadcast charity, the Royals charities, they help so many people in the community here. So it's a great thing, like Toby was saying. Children, hospitals, anybody in need, they're ready to take care of you. So we appreciate your generous donations tonight, folks. And not just donations, you're getting something for it.
Three and 2 on Lorenzo. Lyles walked Perez in the first inning. Alex Gordon and Billy Butler both lined to the outfield. Pulled just foul. 3 and 2. That home run from Lorenzo Cain, I didn't look at the flags, but I'll bet they moved, as I think everybody in the stadium just exhaled after he hit that home run. Everybody in the dugout. I mean, that was just the put-away hit in a game that the Royals have been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, and you know, especially Greg Holland, who was out there in the bullpen. Home runs take pressure off. You can breathe a little easier. Get a little cushion.
Challenge him with a fastball. 93 miles an hour. That's Lyles' first strikeout. 1 down in the second. Jordan Lyles was the Astros' first-round pick in 2008. First-round picks selected yesterday in the June amateur draft. Ball 1 to David Lowe. David Lowe had a big hit on Wednesday, had a 2-run base hit as the Royals put an end to the long losing streak at home and beat Minnesota in game 2 4-1, and then won last night 7-3. 1 ball, 1 strike. So he continues to get playing time in right field. He was not in the lineup on May the 22nd when the Royals faced Jordan Lyles, so he sees him for the first time tonight, and he's ahead 2-1. Hud, your thoughts? Jeremy Guthrie is holding a bottle of Billy Butler's barbecue sauce.
Hit it a ton.
Carter goes to the bag and gets David Lowe for the second out. Well, while you ponder that, we remind you, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, to listen for Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And maybe it's Miguel Tejada, who had a 3-run home run against the Astros at Minute Maid Park. Played with the Astros in 2008 and 2009. Oh, 0-1.
Okay, let's see this. Short, quick swing. That ball was down and in. Right in his wheelhouse. And you know, Tejada was in a home run derby there at Minute Maid, and he hit some monster shots.
And almost a collision out in right center field. Barnes makes the play, almost running into Crow. And the Royals are down in order in the second inning. No score to the top of the third inning, and as you know, George Brett is now the hitting coach for the Royals alongside Pedro Grifol. And tonight is the annual Royals Charities broadcast auction, and one of the items has changed, and here to talk about that is former Royals catcher Jason Kendall. It was going to be dinner with George Brett, but he has an evening job now, so now it's a game day experience. You're going to have lunch with George, right? And you're going to go along.
Absolutely, and Duke as well. But it is the coolest thing because George didn't have to go and have the lunch thing set up. You know, the Capitol Grill and Jeff Davenport hooked it all up to where before the game. But the coolest part about the whole thing is you get to talk to George and Duke, and I'm honored just to go. But you get to talk to these guys, listen to these stories. But the best part about it is when you get to come to the field afterwards. And the one thing people don't realize about the players is it's like anybody else. We're all good people. We all just hang out. But you see number 4. You see number 5. You see the numbers and the nameplate on the back of the jersey. You get to experience the stories. And I have been fortunate enough over the last 2 years to sit with Duke and George and watch games. And, you know, I played 15 years in the big leagues. And I tell you what, I get giddy coming to the park to listen to these guys' stories. But getting back to my point, you actually get to go and see what a great person George is, and Duke, and myself too, I guess.
And you.
But then you get to go and see the intensity and watch George do his thing with these players. It's a pretty cool thing.
You know, Hud, it's interesting that here's Jason Kendall talking about how intense other people were. I mean, I saw him play. Did you see him play?
I did.
I saw him play.
I did. Fortunately, I didn't have to come across him at the dish because that would have been an interesting situation there. But you played the game.
Knocked each other out.
Yeah, you played the game right, and that's why you and George and John connect, because you played hard, and that's all you can give the game. Okay, and George, we know that he's got the passion. You got to talk to him and sit up here for a few years, but watch him. You don't see hitting coaches around the league this animated. Okay. Now, sure, it's before. I mean, look at it.
But that's him. That's every day. And I'm going to tell you what, he, in my mind, this is just my opinion, the best third baseman ever played the game. And the reason I said that, yeah, you got Brooks Robinson, you got Mike Schmidt. But I'm going to tell you what, if I had to pay to watch somebody play, it'd be George Brett. I'm going to tell you what, if you're a middle infielder and you know George Brett's on first base, you better watch out. I'm not saying that about Brooks and Schmidt, but I'll tell you
what did Willie Randolph tell you when you came up to the Yankees?
Hey, young kid, look, when we play the Royals, you better be careful. There's 2 guys in their team that could end your career, Hal McRae and George Brett, and I'm serious.
And he's referring to you playing in the middle infield.
That's right. I was taking ground balls behind him as a Yankee. That ball's hit well.
And it's over David Lowe's head and up against the wall. Barnes will be waved home, and the throw goes to the plate. It might have had a better chance going to third. Trevor Crow's triple drives in Barnes, and the Astros have a 1-0 lead.
But the intensity with George, I mean, he ran every ball out. He played every game like it was his last. He did it the right way. He, in my mind, once again, my opinion, the best third baseman ever played the game.
So we're not only talking about having a conversation with George and hearing the stories and John Wathen and you, but what a meal at the Capitol Grill,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, talk about first class.
Steak before I come to the ballpark. You can't beat that.
Now, I was talking to somebody earlier today who brought up a very good point about this package, and that there really is never a dull moment when you're around George and he's telling stories. But before, a week ago, it would be stories about former Royals and days gone by. And now, since he's hitting coach, I mean, there's a connection to today's Royals, some conversations perhaps about what he's doing with the hitters today. And then part of the package includes coming to the ballpark afterward and watch him at work as hitting coach with some of these young hitters.
That's the coolest thing in the world.
Yep.
And you get to go and see the type of person he is, and then come out and just you get to see those jugular veins popping out and how intense he is and how much fun he has. I mean, there's a reason this team's starting to get hot.
Yeah, they're catching that passion. You know, and for a lot of these young hitters going through these growing pains, like almost every young hitter does, number one pick or not, there's a learning curve. It's from the shoulders up lots of times.
Absolutely.
George is going to help that, and he already has.
Absolutely. And just the intensity, just his presence in the dugout is a huge difference. But you know what? If there's a player down there, whether it be pitcher or hitter, and they have a question, not to say that any one person is going to know everything about this game, but there's a number 5 right there. Ask him a question, and nobody's going to feel uncomfortable asking him a question.
You know, we had John Wathen up here a few nights ago, and we showed him sitting next to George the night of the Pine Tar. Yeah, and so you know that's one of the most famous moments in the game, and George will say, "Hey, that's what people will remember me for," and so. Think about that. You'll be able to ask him stories and about that whole situation, you know, and George will be animated, and John will be there to back him up.
The first question he's going to be asked about the Pine Tar thing actually is kind of cool. It's the first thing I asked him when I saw him. But I'm going to tell you what, like I said, those 2 years that I got to sit up and watch games with him, why didn't Duke stop him right there?
Well, Duke knew. He said that he had an idea. He was telling George, they're going to call you out. And John's a little bit late. He said he'd never seen George explode like that.
Amazing. And it's still, I think it's the number 1 thing on MLB. Like they have the most amazing moments. It's number 1. And it probably always will be.
Blocked by Perez. Boy, we could talk about a million things with you up here, Jason. But I do want to ask you, when you're talking about the mentality of George Brett, you know, HUD had that mentality too as he was a player. And it was so refreshing. And I know we are talking about George Brett, a very special player. But HUD, when we heard that press conference in St. Louis and some of the things that he was saying, things that needed to be said, needed to be heard, it was just so refreshing. And I'm just thinking to myself, because you were a throwback, your father played in the big leagues, and he was an old school type player. Is that a bygone era? I mean, you guys talk about it. HUD talks about it. George talks about it. If Hal McRae was here tonight, he'd talk about it. But, I mean, is that a thing of the past, that style of play?
I believe so. That being said, I think you can bring it back. I think that's what needs to happen. I mean, how many guys do you see going in hard second base now and flipping a guy up?
Well, they're all hugging each other. They're doing batting
Absolutely.
practice, you know. They're going to go out to dinner after the game. I mean, do you want to break the guy's leg sliding into second base when he's going to take you to the plaza after the game?
If I had a best friend on the other team, I'm trying to, in a legal way. I'm trying to tear every ligament in this league, but in a legal way. I'm never going to embarrass my name, the game, or my teammates. It needs to be brought back, and I'll be honest with you, it's the money. There's too much money, but I'm not dumb when I played. I was going to say no, but I think the money softens up some of the players, and they don't want to get hurt because they have a 15-day DL, this and that, and pull. The game needs to go back to that era, in my opinion. once again, that's just my opinion.
So how do you do that? I mean, how do you get not just a guy here or there to have that mentality, but how do you get a team to have that mentality?
There's a lot of different ways.
Some of which we probably can't share on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, there's a lot of different ways. But the bottom line is you play the game. There's one thing that's easy to do in this game, and that's hustle. I take that back to 2: hustle and being prepared. Everything else is difficult.
Yeah,
Everything
I
else
share
is
that with
difficult.
people. 2 things, in my opinion: attitude and your output.
Absolutely.
Those 2 things is all you can control. If you focus on those and you have a little talent, you can take it a long way. But you know, you can preach that and talk about that, and you know, that starts down in the minor leagues, and I believe it can be taught, and I believe that.
Absolutely.
But you have to have guys too that it's nice when you got multi-sport guys that played football, have a little contact idea. There's a little bit of difference there too, because a lot of the players, you know, were baseball guys only. They didn't really play contact sports, so they're a little softer as far as that goes. But that's where I think it's great to get big league ball players that were well-rounded, young guys playing different sports. It gives them a little different idea about contact, and I know that helped me, and it hurt me as a hitter. I was too aggressive, but on the bases and going hard 100% down the line and those kind of things, after a while your opponents start to know that, and so they know what to expect when they're playing you, whether they're your friend or not. But that's what you have to give.
Attitude.
That's what you have to give the game.
You get 3 hours out of the night to put yourself in a different world. 3 hours. And why not go do it harder? In all honesty, we get to wear pajamas for a living. I mean, and you know what? Go get them dirty. So you got a big league uni on your back, and you get a chance to get it dirty.
Even though in our day, they were skin tight. Remember our uniforms? You know, nowadays
that was a nice look, Hud.
Yeah, they're a little baggy.
Was.
They're kind of baggy there, you know, and these here, and that's okay. Everything changes. But those uniforms we had, man, shoot, I squeaked when I walked and ran. It was a little bit tough. But anyway, James,
not a swing, 3-2.
James he's navigating his way through this here. Jason, hey, while we got you here, how about Salvi? Give us your impressions on Salvador Perez.
One of the best in the game as far as young catchers. He does everything well. He blocks the ball well. He throws obviously well, and he's getting to the point now where he's starting to call a game. He's starting to get in. You know, who's on deck? What did he hit off of Fields in a 2-1 count last week? He's starting to get that whole mindset and calling a game, because everybody sees the catch and throw guy, the blocking ball. He's probably the best in the game right now. But now he's starting to get okay, hey, you know what? Pena's coming up. What did Pena hit in a 2-1 count last week in Houston? Well, you know what? If it was a knock, Pena's probably looking for that same pitch. Well, you know, and he's getting that going right now, which is it's neat to see. So there's so much more than the catch and throw that goes into a catcher, and he's getting that at such a young age. It took me 5 years, and I had a father who played in the big leagues for 12 years, and I had an advantage.
You play with Dan Herron in Oakland?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I wanted to attribute the quote to the right person, but I got to think one of the greatest compliments from a pitcher you work with, Dan Herron, said that after a while he stopped watching video and preparing for games because there's no way it was going to compare to what you did, so he just said, whatever Jason puts down, that's what I'm going to throw.
It was something I took pride in. I mean, I was at the park every day at noon watching the games or that he pitched against the team last year, or somebody, you know, similar. But I took pride in doing that. And as a catcher, you got to get that trust from your pitcher. And it doesn't matter if Sal's 22 and Shields' 30. It doesn't matter. Once you step into those lines, that's the quarterback of the team. And that's what I'm saying. Sal's getting it now. And it's fun to watch because he's going to be a perennial all-star for a long time.
0-2 on Carlos Pena. We're visiting with Jason Kendall, who ended his big league career with the Royals, and among other things, up to talk about the game day experience, where Jason's going to be with John Wathan and George Brett. The game day experience, lunch on the plaza at the Capitol Grill, all the stories that you want to hear, all the clubhouse jokes that you want to hear, maybe some you don't want to hear.
One thing about us three is we don't hold back too much. So I mean, you'll hear some good stuff.
Hey, Jason, thanks for stopping by. Great chatting with you.
Way to go, Jason. Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely.
In the middle of your picture would be Kelly Mans. Her daughter Chloe was born with an undetected congenital heart defect that, had it not been for Kelly's motherly intuition, could have cost Chloe her life. She insisted on a pulse oximetry test for her daughter, an easy, non-invasive life-saving test that is not mandated by most states. And to help future newborns and their mothers, Kelly worked closely with organizations like the American Heart Association to pass legislation in Missouri that would require all newborns to be screened. So she's sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game as the Royals trail the Astros 1-0. Astros scored in the top of the third, and they were poised for more, but James Shields, with a runner at third base and nobody out, struck out Castro, Martinez, and Pena.
And that was a really good example of what an ace does, or a pitcher that's really on top of his game. When he gets in trouble and runners in scoring position like that, he bears down. And that was a really good example of that. The single, the triple, the run scored. He stranded that runner and punched out 3. Left him stranded with nobody out. You know, he's got that in him. Going to need some run support. Nice to see if they could do it. Lyles has been pretty good mixing his pitches.
And he's retired 5 in a row. And 7 of the 8 that he has faced so far tonight. And now ball 1 to Alcides Escobar.
I haven't seen Escobar bunt very much lately.
Right center field, well hit. And coming over from center is Barnes. He got a good read, and he makes the play for the second out. He was a catcher. James Loney of the Dodgers, now with the Rays. Joe Mauer, he was a first overall pick. Manny Machado, we've seen him already. We've seen enough of him already. And Alex Gordon, the second overall pick in 2005. And here is Alex. He lined to left in the first inning. He had just 1 hit in the Minnesota series, but it was one big hit. Cracked his bat, and it's one hop out to Gonzalez. And that's a quick 7-pitch inning for Jordan Lyles. He has retired 9 of the 10 batters he has faced.
It's the annual Royals Charities broadcast auction, and your chance to play a video game session with Mike Moustakas and Eric Hosmer. the corner infielders of the Royals. It's a part of the broadcast auction, and we've got bids coming in. We're talking about 45 minutes in the Royals clubhouse for a couple of youngsters ages 5 to 15. You get 4 Kia Diamond Club tickets. You get a parking pass. This is a mutually agreed upon date, and an autographed ball from these two guys, Hosmer and Moustakas. Our tote board is filling up fast. Guys, the market value for the George Brett experience at Fantasy Camp, $3,900. We have a bid of $3,900. Wow. Broadcast auction experience includes the broadcast experience, where you get to go behind the scenes of the Royals radio network and Fox Sports Kansas City. We're having a great time as a part of this auction and raising money. We'll hear more about the broadcast experience, guys, coming up.
Now, Toby, what's the bid right now on the broadcast experience?
Well, it's a little bit less than the George Brett Fantasy Camp. We're at $1,500 for the broadcast experience, $3,900 for GB out in Surprise, Arizona.
Now, that's a good deal, $1,500, because that's worth at least $15 million, right? To hang out with us for the day.
You get to see HUD's haircut and his great dress shirts behind as he's broadcasting, and you get to see Denny Matthews making a note or two over on the radio side.
Hey, Toby, I'll even throw in a signed baseball card, although it's only worth $0.25, but with my signature, it's only worth about a dime.
$1,525 right now is the.
Yeah, $1,525 is what we're going to bump it up to, but we'd love to have some bids in for broadcast.
Toby, but look, they get to go out to the TV truck out in the back and watch all the 15 to 20 teammates that we have out there calling the shots, controlling the cameras. I mean, it's an interesting experience, certainly.
Yeah.
If you have anybody in your family that's interested in television broadcasting or radio, they'd love that.
Yeah, and this one's the big one, guys. Play video games for 45 minutes with Hosmer and Moustakas. You call 504-4040. It'll give you a couple of options. We also have some great ticket packages, too, to raise money for Royals charities.
All right, Toby, we'll check in with you again later. But, man, what a great opportunity. Go in the clubhouse. I mean, first of all, you get in the clubhouse. I mean, you get to see where these guys come in every night, every day, change clothes, get ready for the game, where they are after the game when they are interviewed by the media.
It's like their living room.
And just like being in their living room, you get to sit with these guys for 45 minutes and play video games. I don't even know. What do guys play these days?
Well, I know they have portable sets they bring on the road with them and they play during the clubhouse.
I mean, I go back to the Pong days.
Yeah. Well,
you spend 4 hours just trying to hit a little video ball ricocheting off the wall, which would explain a lot of issues.
I got 10 years on you, and Pac-Man was really our thing in Galega.
Carter, known for his power, has been a leadoff man for the Astros tonight. He led off the second with a walk, and now he leads off the fourth with a single. We should also mention that with the game day experience, George Brett, Jason Kendall, John Wathen, lunch on the plaza at the Capitol Grill, coming to the ballpark, watching George work with the hitters before the game, see what they do before every game to prepare what they work on. It will also include an opportunity to have your picture taken with the guys
on the field. Ooh, man. Hosmer thought he got it. He's trying to sell Manny Gonzalez. Ooh. It looked like the tag beat him. Ooh, James wanted that. That's almost the second time now that Carter's been picked off. Or second base, they almost got him. And then there. I'm not so sure Hosmer tagged him. Looked like the ball beat him there.
Ball 1-2 Cedeno, and when he batted with Carter at first in the second inning, he dropped down a bunt to get Carter up to second. Now Carter runs, and it's off of Shields' heel. It stays on the infield and will result in an infield single.
Just a little run and hit. Okay, now James, he's trying to backhand. He's trying to field it. Nothing you can do on that. Ball coming down at your feet like that, and I'm not so sure they would have been able to get it out either place. Wouldn't hit that hard by the time Chris Getz would have gotten it. Cedeno might have beat it out.
So it's Dominguez who singled to left in the second inning. Laid on a slider, 0-1. The Astros displayed their power against the Royals in Houston. Now, of course, they play in a ballpark that is much more conducive to home runs than here. But the Astros scored 12 runs in the 3-game series with the Royals, and 8 were the result of a home run. And Dominguez pops it up. Good pitch by Shields. Really had him reaching. Kane comes sprinting in from center field. He drops it. The Royals still will get an out. They'll get the force at second base on Cedeno. And Carter goes to third. So that'll probably go down as an error and a force out at second base. Also could have been scored an 8-6 fielder's choice. The initial ruling is error 8 and then put out 8-6.
Okay, Lorenzo had to come a long way for this, but he was calling for it, so that's why Getzy peeled off. And sometimes when you're going full speed like that, got to be able to get that glove up. It's not a routine play by any means.
And they did change the ruling, so remove the error. It is a fielder's choice, 8-6. So first and third, 1 out, instead of first and second, 1 out. And now a safety squeeze, not a suicide squeeze. It looked like Carter at third was anticipating a bunt, but he wasn't sprinting down the line. And Gonzalez did not get a pitch he could put down. Ball 1.
Remember, mentioned how Marwin Gonzalez leads the league in sack bunts with 7.
And he grounded into a double play with this exact same situation in the second inning. Runners at first and third and 1 out. And another ground ball to Escobar. Somewhere Yogi Berra is smiling because it's deja vu all over again.
And Shields loves it.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. Royals wives answering phone calls. Tonight is our broadcast auction for Royals charities, and joining us in the booth is the Royals Vice President of Communications and our boss, Mike Swanson. Hello, Mr. Swanson. How are you today?
Mr. Lefevre, how are you, sir?
Very good.
Mr. Hudler, how are you today?
Happy you're here, boss.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you are.
Now, we want all of the items to do well.
Yes.
That's the case every year. However, there's a certain sense of pride every year when we get to the broadcast experience, because there have been years where that's been a popular item and we've raised a lot of money, and so we don't want to change that this year.
We've got I think we've got a little bit of a head start this year. We just need to pick it up on the board. But we don't have George coming into the booth to bid for George this year. I mean, if I can't take out Jason Kendall, I mean, we got a little bit of a problem here.
There's a good start to the inning. Eric Hosmer has an infield single.
I love Jason, but, you know, he's trying to sell an experience with George Brett. We're selling an experience where you're going to have a chance to see George Brett from the field. You're going to have a chance to sit with Ned Yost and his meeting with the media, have a chance to have dinner with you fine gentlemen. Heck, we can probably build this thing up. Maybe they can come in and hang out with you for an inning or two during the telecast. They can go down to the truck and tell you guys what to do. There are a lot of things people can do if they bid on this experience. So, and I didn't even bring up the radio side. Go over and push all of Don's freeze buttons and feel his wrath for a minute. There are a lot of things you can do if you go over the radio booth too.
There's more than one meaning to pushing Don Freeze buttons,
yes,
but you're talking about the actual.
I'm talking about the ones
board.
We just took the lead, gentlemen.
Salvador Perez, his first home run as a number 3 hitter, and the Royals lead 2-1 in the 4th.
All right, boss, you can't leave the rest of the night now. You bring that kind of magic up here down that field, we'll keep you.
How's that for play-by-play? We just took the lead, gentlemen.
I loved it. That's beautiful. Salvi barreled it up.
Well, they say that hitting's contagious, Hud. I know you've said that 100 times, and all we needed was to get the first one.
That's right. You know what? The kid was cruising until Hosmer got that little infield hit. Now Salvi says, all right, I'll look for something out over, and he did, and he had a little bat flip. He knew he got it.
Just get the first one. And then after this ball game's over, if this was the night of the broadcast experience, you come in after the ball game and get to hear Ned Yost talk about how great that swing was by Sal Perez. So there's a lot of options that come with this broadcast.
They get to go after game, post-game?
We will invite them in there. We've had them in there before, and they're more than welcome to come in and hang out in that post-game press conference. And depending on the outcome of the game, we'll see if we'll let them ask a question or not.
Wow, I love that. And, you know, also, Swanee, they get to go to the truck. A lot of people don't understand that we have a team out there, too. And look at Salvi. He's got Billy's barbecue sauce. He's working. He hit it a ton.
Two and one now on Billy. Sal won 87 at-bats in between home runs. He has really taken to the number 3 spot in the batting order, even though it's just 3 games.
He has, and, you know, typing the lineups up tonight to see both catchers sitting in the 3-hole. The game's changing, isn't it?
And now Billy going the other way, so he continues to hit it home. So after the 2-run home run, Billy doubles, and the Royals have a runner at second base. Still nobody out.
It's contagious, gentlemen. What'd I say?
You're exactly right.
Now we need people to start calling in on the broadcast experience, because when they see the money going up, it's contagious. Keep going.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw something into this broadcast experience here, okay? Since obviously we have an impromptu rally Billy Butler bottle of barbecue sauce, which we first noticed that Jeremy Guthrie was holding in the dugout. I'm going to offer this. I mean, this is a very personal possession of mine here, but I will, if you bid and win the broadcast experience, I will give you my personal bottle of Billy's Hit It a Ton barbecue sauce. How about that?
No. I'm going to take it to the next level. If you bid on this and win it, Ryan's going to donate it. I'm going to have Billy sign it to you.
Whoa, there it is. That's their rallying cry so far tonight.
I think, I don't know the story behind why Jeremy's done it, but anything Jeremy does, I'm not going to be surprised about. Jeremy said he was going to bid on going to Worlds of Fun with Bruce Chen, so
who wouldn't want to do that?
He thinks that's going to be a lot of fun.
That ground ball will not get Billy over to third as Keane is 0 for 2.
Hey, Mike,
and that's out number 1.
While we have you up here in this hot inning, I'd like to show the people what broadcasters get.
And you'll be able to get this with the broadcast experience. You get a pack of the notes. Each team has game notes.
Notice ours are colorful.
Right, we have ours. And, Mike, you're in charge of this. There's 8 pages. How many pages are here?
8 pages.
Okay, 8 pages of notes for each game. And you have to, and the numbers change every night in baseball.
Every day. And my staff, Mike Cummings, Colby Curry, myself, we work on these every day.
Yeah,
162 times
how do you do this every day?
Writer's cramp. We work at it. We type a lot. It's a lot of work, but you know what? We take a lot of pride in them. I've been doing them for 35 years, and there's a lot of pride that goes into these. We want you guys to have as much information as possible. And even though you're with the club every day, there's a couple of guys from Houston that hadn't seen this ball club play for a couple of weeks. So we want to put as much information as possible. We started off with the first paragraph, explaining to everybody what took place here last night, and then we go from there. Sometimes we have to write, about some of the things that haven't gone so well. Fortunately, the club's playing a lot better, and it's a lot easier doing notes right now. Some nights you sit there, or mornings you'll see us having writer's block, and we're trying to find that note that's not going to be too negative, but we do have to say what's happening with the ball club.
So at nighttime after games, do you do it then, or do you wait till the next day?
It varies. On the road, more often than not, I'll do it after games at night because it's easier to sit down. Everything's fresh in your mind, and I'm sure like you as a player and you as a broadcaster and as a player in your younger days, you get back from the ballpark to the hotel, the last thing you want to do is go to sleep. You can't. You're wired up. You've been at a ball game. And so for me, sitting down at the computer and getting some work done eases my mind a little bit, and then I'm ready to go the next day. Plus anymore, I used to, go out and enjoy the towns we were in the evening, and now I like to go out and enjoy the towns in the daytime, and it makes much more sense. We go to such beautiful cities during the course of the year that you go out, put the iPod in, and take a nice little walk around town, and I've got most of my work put to bed from the night before, literally. So anyway, fans come to the ballpark. When fans been on this broadcast experience, they're going to get the full note package. They'll get all the good stuff.
That's a good touch. I don't think we've done that in the past. Offer them the information that we have access to on both teams.
I think the coolest part of it, not hanging with you isn't the coolest part, per se.
It isn't?
It's got a chance of being, but I think the group going to the truck, to go in there and watch Joe and Steve work, Sammy and Al, to watch them put this show on. I've always correlated it to if you've ever, if you're from my age group, which is a very old age group, but if you ever watch the NASA shuttles going up, and then you look at NASA in Houston, you walk into that truck, you see all the screens right in front of you, and the fact that Steve Kurtenbach and Joe Lavero know that everything that's on that screen, know what to tell you guys do, have everything timed out in the commercial breaks. There's so much that goes into putting one telecast on. You go in there and you are really stunned to see the work that goes into one baseball telecast.
And I say here to that. I mean, we are grateful when people say, can I come up to the booth? I'd like to see you broadcast the game. And my thought is, I appreciate the thought, but if you really want to see how a game gets on TV, it's exactly where Swanee said you want to go. And I'll just add, Swanee, that the time that whomever wins this experience gets in the truck, they will never watch a live sporting event the same again on TV. When you see how many people it takes to do everything that you see on the screen right now.
Absolutely. The buttons that have to be pushed, the calls that are made by the director, the graphics that go up, everything that goes into a game. It's amazing to see.
That was almost a heads-up play by Dominguez when he realized Billy Butler was advancing. He tried to grab it and apply the tag, but wasn't able to do so. So it's an infield hit for Tejada.
Can we get Billy an infield hit on that too?
Well, he deserves them. We don't get him that much, but look at it. He sees it's going to be close. He gets in there. Nice. Now he's reading this the whole way. He didn't realize it was going to be as close as it was, but he actually kicked it in a different gear. I didn't know he had 2 gears.
And slid to the outside part of the bag. Made it a little tougher on Mr. Dominguez.
Nice commentary there. Way to go, Swanee.
I've watched the game or two.
Swanee, you could do this, but no. I could never do what you do. I could never put them game notes together. I would be just baffled in the first paragraph.
Especially when you say them game notes together. I don't think that would make it past the spell check, would it, or the grammar check?
Grammar check would jump all over
it.
But I get a couple grammar checks during the course of the day too, so it's okay. When we get on the next road trip, I'm not going to be on the next trip, but the one following, I want you to come to the room one night.
I would love that.
And you can sit and watch me do these. This would be the thrill of your life, I'll tell you.
I would enjoy seeing what it goes into that, because we sure benefit when we come to the ballpark by reading them, but we almost take it for granted.
You know what? I'm just glad you read them because I'd like to think they're being read.
Gets grounds out to short, and that is the inning.
All right, fellas, I got you 2 runs.
Yes, you did. Swanee,
Yeah,
thanks
that's a
for
beautiful
dropping
thing.
by, and those 2 runs coming on a Salvador Perez 2-run home run and a bat flip to go with it.
Bid,
Royals
everybody,
lead
bid.
2-1.
Bid.
Hit it a ton.
Joined by Mary Potter. She is the fiancée of Bruce Chen, the future Mrs. Chen, and that means that you get to see all of the fun and good times that we see from Bruce. And I think he has the coolest giveaway here with the charity auction, the Royals Charities Broadcast Auction, a trip to Worlds of Fun. Now, this was his idea?
It was his idea. I think he is more excited than a 12-year-old to go to Worlds of Fun with the fans.
That doesn't surprise me at all, and I love it because it's so Bruce, you know. I mean, he can do anything. I know he's great with kids. He can do a pitching lesson. He can do all these things, but I can picture him out there running around Worlds of Fun and skipping to the front of the line and whatever he might have in store. What will he have in store for these kids?
Not only are they going to get to enjoy a full day at Worlds of Fun with Bruce, he's also going to throw in 4 tickets and food and drinks to whoever is the highest bidder, guys. So we're really counting on you to come out tonight and donate, and he'll show you a good time.
No, I know he will, and I'm just wondering. I mean, he is a kid. Is he as much a kid around you as he is with us?
I woke up this morning to him dancing around our apartment, talking about going to Worlds of Fun, if that answers your question.
This morning?
This morning.
He didn't talk about having a dream about a muffler, did he?
He did, and that is my favorite joke.
We know he tells a few jokes. All right, that's the muffler, and he wakes up exhausted. Sorry if I'm ruining it for everyone, but I've heard it about 50 times. If I've heard it 50 times, you've heard it about 1,000 times, I guess. But, all right, roller coasters. Are you a roller coaster person? Is he a roller coaster person?
I am the roller coaster person. We sit in the front every time, and yes, he is the roller coaster king.
I am not bidding on this now because I don't mess with that stuff. I know. I'm too much of a wimp. Jeremy Guthrie apparently interested in bidding on this. Would you guys welcome Jeremy Guthrie as your guest?
Of course we would. Everybody should come on out. We'll see how many fans we can get to come out, too, because I'm sure Jeremy will tweet about it.
Jeremy will tweet about it. Bruce, he tweets maybe, once a year, twice a year maybe?
A few times. He gets them in there.
All right, so Bruce, what about with the kids, too? And I tell about the jokes with Bruce. I mean, they're all good, clean, fun jokes, as we're going to see a ground ball there to Chris Getz for the second out of the inning. But how much does he entertain kids?
Every day. He will stop and sign any autograph and tell any joke to any child he sees. He loves kids. He has 2 of his own, so there's always good, clean fun at home also.
Yeah, we know that. We enjoy it every single day. What if Rex Hudler bids on this?
We would love to go with Rex.
Rex, come on, Hud. You can bring your kids, hang out with Bruce. What about it?
only stomach one of them rides, and that messed me up the rest of the day. But man, it sure was fun, and the people were really enjoying the beautiful weather too.
Left field corner, Alex runs to the warning track and makes a nice play behind James Shields, who is pitching with the lead for the first time since the middle of May.
Feels good. So does this. Would have been a double.
Inviting you to come and be on my team in Royals Fantasy Camp this year in January.
Royals hitting instructor George Brett, Baseball Hall of Famer George Brett, who was nice enough to say that we could donate a fantasy camp trip for one of the winners of the auction items tonight on the broadcast auction. George does not grant somebody the opportunity to be on his team. They pick it as a draft. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. It's a part of our broadcast auction, 816-504-4040. You can bid, guys, on several of the great experiences that we've been telling you about tonight in our annual Royals Charities broadcast auction. Also, some $99 ticket packages if you want to donate to Royals Charities. That way, they're a value of more than $300, and we've had some great bids so far. That fantasy camp, by the way, $3,900. We're already up to the value on that, guys.
Thank you, Toby. We'll be checking in with Toby all night. And we thank everybody who has called in. If you are just tuning in now, it is our annual Royals Charities broadcast auction. We have some great items this year. This is probably the best lineup of items we've ever had for this broadcast auction. And we've had Jason Kendall up here in the booth. We have had Royals Vice President Mike Swanson up here in the booth. We just heard a sound clip from George Brett, and the item we're talking about right now is playing on George Brett's team at Fantasy Camp. And there's a bunt from Alcides Escobar. And you mentioned this a couple of innings ago when Escobar flied out to center field. He has not bunted very often this year, and that was a big part of him hitting .293 last year.
That's right. And I don't know if it was the 3 home runs that he hit early in the season that made him change his game around, but the home runs are just a byproduct of a nice, easy swing. But that bunting, that's important for him.
And now chops it out to short, and Cedeno will throw him out. 1 down to begin the bottom of the 5th. Here's a look at tonight's Sprint Unlimited Answers poll. What is your favorite item up for bid tonight? Text 432-432 and enter E. And we thank you for voting.
It's all right if you vote for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's a great lineup, and we'll get to all of them in depth at some point of the game tonight. There's a strike to Alex. He is lined to left, grounded out to second base. Just made a nice play running into the left field corner. And gets jammed, and how about that? A backhanded play by Lyles just to knock it down and keep it close to his feet. And he throws out Alex for the second out.
Great. Alex hit that ball off of his hands. Excellent back end. Knocked it down. Got him out. Doesn't hurt. You see a lot of pitchers do that. You know, they just throw their glove back there away and hoping they knock it down. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Worked that time, unfortunately, for Alex. He's 0 for 3 now.
Eric Hosmer reached with an infield single in the 4th inning and scored on the Salvador Perez home run. And now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Hosmer is 1 for 2. The Astros scored in the 3rd on a triple by Trevor Crow, and the Royals took the lead in the 4th. And now line foul off to the left field side, 2-1. Three and one. Do we have some early returns for our Sprint Unlimited Answers poll? We don't have the numbers yet, but we understand that the votes are just flooding in for the broadcast experience.
Oh, we love it. Hope
see our viewers, they know.
But we hope the money pours in. That's
right.
Really what we want. But we'll take the votes.
Out to Cedeno. So Lyles, after giving up 2 runs, 4 hits last inning, bounces back with 3 straight ground outs in the 5th. James Shields back to the mound with the Royals leading 2-1 to the 6th inning. Two-1 Royals to the top of the 6th inning, the night of our annual Royals Charities broadcast auction. And one of the items up for bid, fielding lessons with Alex Gordon, who has won a Gold Glove the last 2 years in left field. Now, there are some players who are just naturally gifted at a position, and they're able to make the plays, and quite frankly, they don't know how. They just have a gift for it. And while Alex has many of those skills, he had to learn a brand new position a few years ago. So he would be a great guy to talk to about playing the outfield, because in 2010 he went back to the minor leagues after spending his entire big league career up to that point as a third baseman, and had to learn all the ins and outs of playing left field, more than just chasing down a fly ball.
Yeah, but you know, it's a fielding experience, and you can learn from Alex. And I'm sure that he's still got some third base tips too. If the youngster or whoever bids on that, want to know a little bit about third, certainly can do that too.
Martinez gets jammed, and Lorenzo Cain makes a play in center field. J.D. Martinez is 0 for 2.
But he's got such a really great personality. He's fun. He's very easygoing. He's warm. He makes you feel important. You know, at least he does me that way. And you know, he's a superstar. But he'll make your experience a wonderful one. Plus pictures. Think about that. That's a lifetime experience with one of the best players in baseball.
Carlos Pena has struck out twice against James Shields, and both times Shields struck him out with a changeup. Outside for ball 1. Carlos Pena, can't believe it's been 9 years already, but in 2004 here at Kauffman Stadium, he had a career day. He was playing for the Detroit Tigers, and he went 6 for 6 with 2 home runs. Tigers blew out the Royals that day. They had 27 hits, and Pena had 6 of them. And I remember that game, and I remember Pena playing well. But what really stands out about that day is we found out after the game that Carlos Beltran had been traded to the Houston Astros. Carlos finished up that year with Houston in 04, helped them get to the National League Championship Series where they were beaten by St. Louis, and then signed the big contract the next offseason with the New York Mets. Pena, that's the best he can do with a James Shields changeup tonight. It's just reach out over the plate and nick it foul, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. 78 pitches for James Shields. He only has 1 inning tonight where he has thrown more than 20. Two and 2.
You know, Pena, he's not just a ball player. He's a smart guy too. He had a 3.3 GPA at Northeastern University. That's a brain school. He did play some baseball there, but he got an engineering degree. Him and Bruce could have a pretty cool conversation. Bruce Chin, he's into that too.
And a shot over James Shields and past Escobar, who was over on the right side of second base. So this time around, Pena gets Shields, and the Astros have 1 on with 1 out. Time for tonight's AT&T trivia question. Since 2000, who has made the quickest debut for the Royals after being drafted in the first round? Ball 1 to Chris Carter. He has walked and he has singled. Both of those plate appearances were leading off an inning. Now he bats with 1 on, 1 out. Blocked by Perez. Throw to second, and it hit the runner Pena, and it's a good thing that it did rather than skip out into center field, and Escobar is able to run it down. So Pena goes to second on a wild pitch.
Okay, Salvador, he wanted to get him out. Just a little bit short with the throw as he goes down. Would have taken a perfect on the money throw right on the first base side of second to get him. Good job by Getzy to keep that ball, knock it down, keep it from going into center.
So recent draft picks. Well, let's see. Alex Gordon was drafted in 05. Played in Double-A in 06. Made his debut in 07. So that's fewer than 2 years. 2 seasons, but fewer than 2 years. Luke Hochshaver was drafted in 06, and I believe he was here by the end of 07.
How about Crow?
Aaron Crow, 09, and was here for opening day of 2011.
Who got there the quickest?
Zach Greinke, I believe, was 02. And he was in the big leagues in 2004. Now you're just talking about the difference in days. 3-1 on Chris Carter.
James is being careful with this guy. Carter, he's a big power hitter.
Pena just gets back in time. Shields has nearly picked off 3 Astros tonight. 2 plays at second base, 1 at first.
That Chris Getz, he snuck right in there behind him. Another good throw. James Shields puts that ball on the perfect part for an infielder to tag him. Now, that one was a little bit higher than his normal feeds, are usually right over that base. And had he put it over the base that time, he would have got it.
3-2.
But, you know, you're not going to be perfect every time. But James Shields is most of the time on his pickoff throws. Pena's looking to advance on a ball that's in the dirt. I just saw his body language talking to his third base coach.
Carter has struck out 87 times already to lead the league. Did he go? He did not, and the pitch was close. And Shields walks him for a second time. To put 2 on with 1 out. Pena at second, Carter at first.
They almost got the swing. That's what that pitch was designed for. And he pitched him carefully. You talked about he strikes out a lot, but he also has power when he connects.
He hit some impressive home runs during batting practice. Now, it's just batting practice when the Royals were in Houston, but balls where you hardly thought it was humanly possible to hit, where Chris Carter was hitting them all over the field. Left field, center field, right field. So now Cedeno, he has dropped down a sac bunt, and he's reached with an infield single. And that infield single put an end to an 0 for 10. Salvador Perez near the Royals dugout brings it down.
Okay, his ball goes up. Salvador is able to pick it up. Now, next inning, it'll be a lot tougher. That's when the sky gets a little bit darker, but hard to see. So he was fortunate there. He's able to get that out for James Shields. Now, it's up to him to see if he can get by Matt Dominguez. He's got a single and a fielder's choice. The one Lorenzo Cain came running in on, and he dropped it, and they've got a force second.
Right center field, long run, David Lowe. He's got it. That saved 2 runs for James Shields.
On contact, there's no way that ball's caught. That's in the gap. David Lowe ran it down to the delight of James Shields. Says touchdown. Yes.
Also now known as the Yasiel Puig game break. What would he do again? How about a grand slam? This guy every night has been doing something to start his career, now batting .438 after last night's contest. So Vin Scully, I know, enjoying all of that action. And our action tomorrow will actually be on Fox. Rex Hudler will be a part of that broadcast. Looking forward to watching that. You know, Ryan, we get a chance to watch a lot of broadcasts. Just curious, did either of you guys in Baseball Night in America, Astros, Royals, tomorrow night at 6, either of you guys see Hawk Harrelson's call at the end of the game last night when the White Sox lost?
I did. I heard it.
Ryan?
I heard his call. It was beautiful.
Tying run on base, go ahead at the plate, walk-off home run, Adam Dunn to the wall, and he says it's high, it's deep, it's way back, it's way back. Dang gummit. Mercy.
It was beautiful. I heard it, Joe.
Oh, and then there's the sails out of dang gummit, mercy. This game is over.
Yeah, he's
the best.
He's outstanding. So are you, Joe. Thanks for the update.
Thanks, Hud.
Fouled away by Salvador Perez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He has a 2-run home run tonight, and it's our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Jim Paulson from Paola, Kansas. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Jim wins $2,200. If the Royals hit a grand slam, like Puig did, Jim will get $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. We saw him in spring training, and anything and everything the Royals threw to him in spring training when they faced the Dodgers, he hit it hard somewhere.
Yeah, he's a bright talent, and you know, they had to pay for him, but they knew what they were getting. A guy with some action, speed, arm, everything. But compared to Bo Jackson, I don't know about that. Maybe physique.
Well, let's put some pads on him and see how he compares to Bo Jackson.
Well, if he could run and knock linebackers down, pancake them 5-10 yards back in the end zone, I'll be a believer.
Gonzalez throws out Perez. 1 down in the 6th. So now Billy with 1 out. He has doubled and lined to center, and it has been home sweet home for him lately. He has 12 hits in his last 21 at-bats at Kauffman Stadium. He had 6 hits in the Minnesota series. So he's gotten his average back up to 275. And I think a good sign for him, Hud, his last 2 hits have been doubles to right field.
You're exactly right. He's seeing the ball longer. He's staying on it.
The league was really getting him to roll over to third base and short quite a bit.
Rolling over means your hands, you're trying to pull the ball on an outside pitch. And you roll them over and you hit a little weak ground ball. Now, Billy is really good at staying inside of the baseball and not doing that. But when you're over anxious and there wasn't a lot of production behind him, he was falling prey to pitchers' pitches, and he was rolling over, like you said. And you know, you get anxious up there. He wants to hit, but he's realizing that, hey, look, my walk is as good as a hit right now. Let the next guy do it. I'm not going to come out of my game and get them out of my game by swinging out of the strike zone.
And now up the middle, Cedeno will throw him out,
and
2 down in the 6th.
That's a rollover.
Hey, there we go. Look at that. 33% say their favorite item for bids tonight is the broadcast experience. And there you go. There's the inside of our production truck. Somehow, all of our guys, our director Steve Kurtenbach, our producer Joe Lavero, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and everybody else in there, somehow they're able to keep track of all those monitors. And so when the game just moves along very slowly, or very fluidly, I should say, as the ball moves around and we're going from camera angle to camera angle, they're down there trying to sort that out, as well as come up with the best replay, the different angles, and you can experience all of that firsthand. Lorenzo Cain. And that may have gone off the glove of the third baseman Dominguez. And Lorenzo ends up at second base with 2 outs. He is 1 for 3.
Yeah, it did hit his glove, and really, had it not, he probably would have been held to a single. But Dominguez slowed it down just enough so he could get in there and get him a nice double with 2. See if they can pick him up. 13th double on the year for him.
And now David Lowe, he just got done saving 2 runs with a play on Dominguez in deep right center field in the 6th inning. So because of his glove, the Royals lead 2-1 rather than trail 3-2. They'll try and drive in Cain with 2 outs. So far, Lowe has struck out and grounded to first. Fastball for a strike from Jordan Lyles. Houston scored a run in the 3rd on a triple from Trevor Crowe. And the Royals got a 2-run home run from Salvador Perez in the 4th. Oh and 2. So Lyles continues to pitch well against the Royals, giving up just 2 runs so far in 5 2/3 innings. His ERA against the Royals before tonight was a little over 2. And we also mentioned early in the game that Lyles hasn't been a big innings eater for the Astros. If he can get the final out in this inning, it would be just the 3rd time this year for him that he's gone at least 6 innings. He has pitched 7 innings once. And at the moment, there is nobody warming up behind him. His pitch count is very good. This will be his 85th pitch. And Lowe nubs it foul.
Hey, Lowe's doing all he can. Just to scrap and claw. Anything close. Don't want to be called out looking. See if you can chip one in there. Now, the outfielders are very shallow, which could make it an interesting play at the plate. They're all shallow. They don't respect Lowe's power, although he has some. Or in this situation right here, he's looking to just dump one out there somewhere. Or big gap in right center field.
Yeah, if he could get one to right center field, he would have a legitimate shot at an inside the park home run.
If he hit it hard. Make it dead out there and hit that wall. Ooh.
And we stay at 1 and 2.
Or a nice lofty ball that would plug out there would be nice. Here we are. We're trying to find a way for him to drop something out there. It's going to score Cain.
But if he gets one out to that Fox Sports Kansas City sign in deepest right center field, Brandon Barnes would have to run to Independence and back to get to the ball. That's how far away he is from deepest right center field. This is the kind of defensive alignment we will see in an interleague game with a pitcher at the plate.
That's right. With 2 strikes, they shorten up on him. Right fielder, he's the only one that's in regular depth. The other 2 guys are shallow.
Got him with a curveball. 3rd strikeout for Lyles. The Royals leave Cain at second base, and at the end of 6, the Royals still lead 2-1.
Rivals in Fox Sports Kansas City. Toby Cook here in Rivals, where we are paying attention to the tote board that is climbing ever greater as we get closer to the end of the game, and we're really rising up with some great packages. We've been revealing these about every half inning, and we've got our final one to reveal, but you can bid throughout the night. This is called Field of Dreams. This is a 45-minute private batting practice on the field. The feedback that we've gotten over the years is that people want to not only be on the field, but they want to participate, and that's going to be the Field of Dreams. And our good friends Jeff Montgomery from Fox Sports Kansas City and our good and very own Rex Hudler will be participating. It's with a suite with food and beverage, a mutually agreed upon date for the Field of Dreams. That's a great program. That's, by the way, up to $3,500. Our biggest one so far is the Ultimate Game Day Experience with Brett and friends on July the 3rd. That's lunch at the Capitol Grill on the plaza. And then they get to come out to the ballpark and get pictures with George and watch batting practice. The broadcast experience up to $2,900. Worlds of Fun with Bruce Chin, $3,500. And the Miguel Cabrera and Carl Yastrzemski autographed Triple Crown jerseys up now to $5,000, guys.
Wow. That's great, folks. Keep them coming.
We also have some $99 Royals ticket packages that are available, with all the proceeds going to Royals charities. So if you want to come out sometime soon, take advantage of that great deal. 816-504-4040 or Royals.com/broadcast auction. $2,900 for the broadcast experience. Are they missing a zero in there, or?
I don't know, but Royals charities and people around the community certainly could use it.
Oh, we're up to $3,500.
There you go. That's in the park.
$15,000 for the game day experience with George Brett and friends. That's great.
The video games, you know, that's make a great Christmas present for your children. Early.
Brandon Barnes has 2 hits, and he has scored the Astros run. Gonzalez has some speed. He's a threat to go. Barnes singled leading off the 3rd, and Trevor Crowe tripled him in. So the Astros had a 1-0 lead, and they had a runner at 3rd with nobody out. And then James Shields shifted into another gear, and he struck out the next 3. And then Salvador Perez hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th. Five of 7 innings the Astros have had the leadoff man on, so James Shields has spent most of the night in the stretch and has pitched very well with men on base. The Astros have stranded 7, so they have just the 1 run, and that would remind me of the series we just played. Minnesota Twins stranded 33 in the 3-game series, so they were getting their base runners, but they just weren't getting the big hit. Does that sound familiar?
That's right. Goes around, comes around. Good pitching.
That is just foul, and Tejada was playing in. 1-1 on Barnes. Mention the Astros' power, and they don't have many team statistics where they are in the middle or the upper half of the American League, but they are right in the middle with home runs. They have hit 67. However, if you dig a little deeper, 41 of those have been at home, which is no surprise the way the ball flies out of Minute Maid Park. So they are a different power team away from Houston than they are at home. And Shields got Barnes to chase one way out of the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. off of Perez, and he has no play as Shields again went to that breaking ball thinking that Barnes might chase it again in the dirt. So Gonzalez to second on a wild pitch.
Salvador Perez, he takes it personally. I mean, he does that all the time. Blocks the ball as good as anyone we've seen, especially for his age of 23. But it's like Pudge Rodriguez. He gets angry when he doesn't block it the way he thinks he should have. He was talking to himself. As he was walking to pick that ball up, he was yelling at himself.
And Barnes did not make contact. He strikes out. So Shields stayed with that pitch and strikes out Barnes. And for Shields, that's 5 strikeouts.
I can't tell you, pitchers can, but how important it is that you can execute your breaking balls down in the dirt whenever you want to when you have a backstop like Salvador Perez. It just gives them confidence to execute their pitches and not worry about the ball bouncing back to the screen. Now, there are other guys in the league, catchers, that aren't as good at that, and a pitcher's going to be a little nervous about throwing that pitch, especially with guys on. But they don't worry about that with Salvi.
And now Trevor Crowe. He drove in the Astros run in the 3rd inning, and he takes ball 1. Crowe is in right field instead of Johnny Paredes. Remember him in Houston? Had a home run, 4 RBIs. He was very impressive at the plate. So Crowe is in right, the former 1st-round pick of the Indians. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Shields now coming up on 100 pitches. He is at 98. Although that's not much of a concern for the Royals dugout. Nobody is warming up in the bullpen. Changeup, and he got the inside, 2-1.
And the Astros are a .237 hitting team with runners in scoring position. Trevor Crowe is hitting .200.
Tonight is the 27th consecutive start for James Shields, going at least 6 innings. Hits it on the ground to Getz. 2 down, and Gonzalez goes to 3rd. All right, what's the answer in our AT&T trivia question for tonight? Since 2000, who has made the quickest debut for the Royals after being drafted in the 1st round? I'm going to go with Luke Hochevar.
Okay.
First overall pick in 2006 and was a September call-up in 2007. He made his debut here at Kauffman Stadium in front of a big crowd against the New York Yankees, pitching out of the bullpen.
Okay, now with that tie and run at third base, just 90 feet away, it really will be important for Salvi to continue to block those breaking balls that are down low.
And a good hitter at the plate. The Astros number 3 hitter Jason Castro, who has 8 home runs. He has 16 doubles. That's the number that stands out for him at this point of the season, because that's 1 more than he hit all of last year. And a breaking ball is in for strike 1. And Shields got a nice play from Alex Gordon in the left field corner when Castro batted in the 5th. Alex running down a fly ball on the warning track.
You know, and in Houston, that might have been a home run.
Good point.
They hit in a lot different park there. It's favorable.
Blocked by Perez, and of course that's a bigger play with a runner at third. James Shields tonight trying for the 7th time to get his 90th career win. Irvin Santana trying to win his 100th career game. One and two on Castro. Irvin Santana will be pitching tomorrow. Two and two. Gonzalez opened the inning with a single. He went to second on a wild pitch and to third on a ground out. And that will tie the game as Shields swipes at the dirt in front of the mound in frustration. And we were just talking about Castro and his doubles. That is number 17 for him. He drives in his 20th of the year, and we are tied at 2.
He's a competitor, big time. Castro, he's got a nice future ahead of him. He'll get better behind the plate. He's already not looking really good as a hitter at the plate. Ball was out over the middle.
And it looked like from that grip that it was a two-seam fastball, that Shields was looking for some movement, and he didn't quite get the run or the sink on it that he was hoping for. So he's in scoring position for J.D. Martinez, who hit a 2-run home run against Shields last time he faced the Astros on May the 22nd. And just now, Kelvin Herrera begins to play catch in the left field bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes. Not a very good swing, just protecting with a pitch weighing on his hands. With all the talk about the draft and who goes in the first round and who goes in the second round, we got a couple of guys here, James Shields and J.D. Martinez, who were not drafted anywhere near the first round. Fouled off to the first base side. Shields was a 16th round pick. And in his senior year of high school, he pitched with a stress fracture in his back, so he didn't pitch very often, so that dropped him in the draft. And J.D. Martinez was a 20th round pick, who blossomed very early in the minor leagues. The scouts doing a good job of projecting his future, as he won a batting title and a league MVP in the minor leagues, drafted in the 20th round.
Okay, they weren't on the same page there. It's a big pitch coming. And you notice who was doing the talking there? James Shields. Salvi was just shaking his head.
Blocked again by Perez, 2-2.
Yeah, Look at this position for Salvi. That ball hit right in front of the plate. You never know where it's going to bounce. Hit the lip of that dish. Cradled it up perfectly. Fans trying to help James here. Yes, he did.
6 strikeouts. But I don't think Shields is celebrating that right now. Still upset about the Castro double as the Astros tie it in the 7th. Baseball is brought to you by Quiznos. Try the new chicken fajita sub. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Chicken fajita sub. Nice snack for the 7th inning stretch as the Royals come up now in a tie game. Thanks to the 2-out double from Jason Castro in the top half of this inning. So Miguel Tejada, Chris Getz, and Alcides Escobar to face Jordan Lyles, who seems to save some of his best work for the Royals. He has only gone 7 innings once before tonight, and now trying to do it again tonight with fewer than 90 pitches as the inning begins. And he should get an out on 1 pitch as Tejada is thrown out by Cedeno.
So I'm not sure if James will come back out again. But if there's one starter that is deserving of a win, it's James. So at least try to get him a lead here this inning. Do something here now with the 2 outs you got. Get him to qualify.
And the Royals, unlike games, and Getz looks like he might drop down a bunt here. You could see him glancing under the bill of his helmet at the right side of the infield. And he shows bunt and takes low, ball 1. It's not like the Royals have had a ton of scoring opportunities and just haven't been able to come up with a big hit yet. They've had very few scoring opportunities against Jordan Lyles. If there's a run that might be hanging over their heads right now, a potential run, after Salvador Perez hit the 2-run home run in the 4th inning, Billy Butler doubled. And the Royals had Butler at second base with nobody out. And the Royals did not get him in, which didn't seem like a big deal, a huge deal at the time, because Perez had just hit a home run to give the Royals a lead. But again, runner at second, nobody out. And the Royals didn't get Billy in the 4th, and they've had just 1 base runner since. And again, Getz bunting. Gets it by the mound. Nice bunt, and he'll be safe with 1 out.
Now that's how you execute and get on base. Good touch there. He wanted to make Clark field it, but he went ahead and got it to Gonzalez, the second baseman. You see that the barrel was above the hand, so he's able to direct it down on the ground. That's what you want. Takes it with him. You call that a drag bunt. Look at that. He waited. He didn't come out of the box too soon on that one. No chance. See if they can get something going here. Sinker baller, Escobar, the way he swings the bat. One out. Ideal situation for a hit and run.
All right, well, here's a bat we need to get going. Now, Cetus Escobar is now hitting .245. And this would be a prime candidate for a hit and run.
Right. Situation calls for it.
That's not going. Outside, ball one. Escobar is flied out to deep center field, and he is grounded to short.
Okay, if you're going to go on a hit and run, you don't want to get picked off. Make sure he goes home. It's not a steal attempt. You just want to get in motion. Escobar, he hits as well behind runners as anybody.
Gets runs, and there was the hit and run. It was not a great pitch to hit, and it looked like Escobar almost skid out with his footing at home plate as he was trying to make contact.
Yeah, he had to really reach out for that one.
Gets his 3 out of 3 in stolen base attempts. Royals are second in the league in stolen bases this year, and HUD pointed out at the beginning of the game the great amount of success the league has had against Jason Castro, and the Royals really haven't tested that yet tonight.
Hasn't had a lot of opportunities.
Got the outside corner, 1-2.
31 stolen bases against Castro. Lyles looks like, though, he does a good job of getting the ball home to him quick. That'll help him.
Crow in right field makes a routine play, 2 down. So Alex Gordon comes to the plate with Getz at first. And we remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. You can vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player.
Perfect time for a big hit from Alex. Haven't seen one in a while.
Batting average down to .311. And just 1 for 14 on this homestand, so he is due. Over a longer stretch, Alex has 10 hits in his last 56 at-bats. (2-0). This will be pitch number 99 for Jordan Lyles. It's not often that he pitches this deep into the game. Trying to go 7 innings for just the second time this year.
About a gapper somewhere. Lines are hot, especially on that pull side. Big alley open up right there. All he's got to do is just shoot something that way. That could score Getsy. Some way to get James Shields a run.
Very shallow left field, and Martinez is there to make the play. So Lyles got Alex to swing at one out of the strike zone. The Royals strand gets, and we're still tied at 2.
Panera takes us around the league. 5 straight losses now for Cleveland as they drop to 500. Verlander outduels Jimenez. Oakland over Chicago. That game in the 8th inning. Minnesota left here, went out to some bad weather on the East Coast. They are postponed doubleheader tomorrow. Let's take a look at our Mazda game break. And Josh Donaldson hits the first grand slam of the year for the White Sox. He is now 6 for 8 this year with the bases loaded. Sox are threatening, or at least have a runner on base in the 8th. And the Royals, well, they could use another White Sox loss, keep them down there. Kelvin Herrera, the new pitcher, right?
All right, Joel, and it's a Chevy call to the bullpen, and it was good to see Herrera back in his old role on Wednesday as the Royals beat Minnesota 4-1, and there was Herrera pitching in the 8th inning, setting up the save from Greg Holland. And tonight, he comes on in the 8th in a tie game, and another no decision for James Shields.
Yeah, you know what? James needs a hug. Look at it. That's a pretty good hug from Ned. Saying, great job, big fella. Hang in there. We'll get you a W here before much longer.
So for Shields, that's his 27th straight start with at least 6 innings. 23 of those have been quality starts. It is the 11th time in 13 starts where he's allowed 3 earned runs or less, and his 7th out of 13 starts where he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. And somehow, with all that, his record is still 2-6. And I shouldn't say somehow. We all know why, as he has now gotten 11 runs of support over his last 7 starts. 11.
Yeah, that's
less than 2 on average per start.
Not good.
Two and one on Carlos Pena. On the other side, Jordan Lyles has gone 7 innings, and he's given up 2 runs. And I don't see anybody warming up in the Astros bullpen, so Bo Porter might be sending him back out for the 8th. Shields threw 111 pitches, and Lyles is right at 100 pitches.
Herrera blazing fastball. 98, 88 to 89 mile an hour changeup. Occasional breaking ball. Keep him honest, little slider.
Still 2-2. Herrera faced only 3 on Wednesday night in his first appearance since being recalled. Got 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Looked like the Kelvin Herrera from April. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pena, Carter, and Cedeno scheduled to come up. Over Herrera's glove, but Escobar is right there to throw him out. Good thing he didn't deflect that ground ball to the right or to the left.
Yeah, but you know what? He put his glove out, and that was enough. He didn't try to stab at it. He says if it goes in, great. If it's not, he knew where the defense was. But we see that a lot. Pitcher knocks it down, and then guy gets a hit.
So power and power. Hooking up here with 1 out in the 8th inning. And so far, Chris Carter has shown more of a good eye than a power swing. He's walked twice. He has singled. 12 home runs, 32 RBIs. Leads the Astros with those 12 home runs. He is tied for the team lead with the 32 driven in. Check swing and a foul. Chris Carter got to the big leagues in 2010 with a lot of hype. And he began his major league career going 0 for 33.
Ooh.
And that was the worst debut as far as at-bats and no hits since 1972.
Ooh, man.
And you remember all the pressure and going 0 for 33.
Ooh, I'm sure that got him a ticket out.
He's been a top prospect in a few organizations over the years. First with the White Sox. He was traded to Arizona in a deal for Carlos Quentin, high-profile player. And then with the A's, he was traded to Oakland in a deal for Dan Herron. And twice in Oakland, he was their minor league player of the year. And in 2009, he was the Texas League most valuable player. As I mentioned earlier in the game, he put on a show during batting practice in Houston every day as far as distance with batting practice home runs. And that's hit hard but pulled foul. Cracked his bat. And Getz will make the play. 2 down. One of the items tonight, ticket packages for $99 to benefit Royals charities. Now that includes 4 Loge box tickets for either Friday, June 21st, that's with the White Sox in town, Saturday, July 6th against the A's, or Friday, July 19th against the Tigers. It also includes 4 unlimited outfield experience passes to be used for one game of your choice. So go out there with the kids, do everything you want to do all night long, unlimited. It includes a parking pass and a game use autographed baseball.
And there's a lot of things out there too. It's a lot of fun, especially when you get to walk down there and stand right in front of those fountains, and you can make a beautiful evening of it.
816-504-4040 or Royals.com/broadcast auction. $99 ticket package. 4 tickets, the unlimited outfield experience pass, a parking pass, and a game-used autographed baseball. And as far as the other items tonight, as we head back out to Rivals, hey, we're up to $37.50 with the broadcast experience. $15,000 for the ultimate game day experience with George Brett, Jason Kendall, John Wathen. Kelvin Herrera, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 8th in a 2-2 tie.
Woo, man, you can't touch that. Smoke.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Fox Sports Kansas City and Royals Charities presents the 2013 broadcast auction. Welcome back to Rivals. Toby Cook here, and we've got some great progress in our experiences that we've been auctioning off all night, and I actually found a new pointer to use. We've got this Royals lineup of bats. It's up to $5,200. The broadcast experience, $37.50. That's behind the scenes at radio and television, including Fox Sports Kansas City. And this George Brett signed bat, he's been kind of the star of the show because we're up to $15,000 on the ultimate game day experience with Brett and friends on July the 3rd. We're going to throw in this bat to the lineup of bats. George Brett, our new hitting instructor. We're 4-3 since he joined the club, and we're going to see if we can wrap this thing up with not only a win, but a lot of money for the broadcast auction. Guys?
Toby, and speaking of George, as the Royals bat in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the new pitcher for the Astros is lefty Wesley Wright, so no 8th inning for Jordan Lyles, but the Royals are looking for some more power. And while they have just 2 runs, 6 hits tonight, Wesley Wright, a Chevy call to the bullpen. The Royals have hit another home run. Royals far and away the fewest home runs in the American League, but they got a home run from Lorenzo Cain last night as part of a 4-run inning. And tonight, George watched Salvador Perez, the Royals' newest number 3 hitter, hit a 2-run home run to put the Royals in the lead for a while in the 4th inning. Two and one on Hosmer.
Okay, Wesley Wright, sneaky fastball, 88-92 slider. He's got a big curve that he uses, but mainly fastball slider in this situation here against the lefty.
Tied him up.
Eric's hit 295 off lefties, by the way.
You know, one thing about hitting the pitch inside, and Eric did not have a good swing at that pitch, is at some point he will realize that a lot of those pitches he's getting tied up with are not strikes. Nobody in the world, pretty much, could do something with the pitch that he just swung at, which should be encouraging for him because he's not going to be expected to do anything with the last two pitches now that are either up and in, or the pitch before that was in off the plate.
George is working with him a little bit on his stance and his hand position. Okay, and he'd like for him to stand a little bit taller on those inside pitches. Stand a little taller, you leverage your legs, trying to get the bat head there. Ball players call it getting the head out.
And he just pokes it into center field for a base hit. So good job of hitting by Hosmer with 2 strikes, avoiding the strikeout and putting the ball in play.
Yeah, and that was a mistake by Wesley Wright. I mean, he was getting some success on pitches all around the plate, but last night we'll show you that 8th inning.
Our AT&T U-verse rewind.
It was a beauty. Gordon got that leadoff double. Hosmer got him over and in. Billy Butler hit a double. And then Lorenzo Cain gave him all breathing room with a nice 2-run homer. George was fired up, and so was the fans here at the K.
Royals won that game 7-3, and now Hosmer is on to begin the 8th tonight. Another pitching change for the Astros. Josh Fields is in. We're tied at 2. Salvador Perez digs in as Josh Fields takes over on the mound. And as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite as we go back to the 4th inning.
All right, Salvador Perez, that was a beautiful home run, his 2nd of the year, a 2-runner in the 4th inning. Now Salvi finds himself the team leader in batting average at .313. And he's given Billy Butler's barbecue sauce a little bit of credit there. He hit that ball a ton. It's like Billy's barbecue sauce.
This is Josh Fields, and he is on the mound for just the 5th time. You talk about a situational reliever. 4 games, 1 in a 3rd innings. So you're talking about just 1 hitter there, and that's it. But nobody warming up behind him. He has spent some time on the disabled list. And in early April, he had a right forearm injury, so the Royals did not see him when they were in Houston last month.
He's got a pretty good fastball, low to mid-90s, and an overhand curve.
Popped up. And Carter to the Royals dugout and right at the railing makes the play. face Billy Butler.
Speaking of hitting it a ton, sure would be nice. I haven't seen a homer off of Billy's bat in a while.
What did you call one of his home runs? A Billy.
That's a Billy bomb.
With some barbecue sauce on it.
That's exactly right. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that, but maybe this will be the right time. They've been advertising in his dugout, his teammates, about his sauce.
Fastball at 92.
Look at that face.
Which one?
Guthrie. Yeah, look at Gutaris. Gutaris is mesmerized by something in the outfield.
And what fell out of Frank Coor's mouth?
Ooh.
0-2.
A straight changeup there.
Billy here at Kauffman Stadium has 12 hits in his last 22 at-bats. And grounded fair. Hosmer on his way to third. Eddie Rodriguez will send him to the plate. And there will be no play at the plate as Hosmer beats the relay. Billy Butler hits his second double of the game, and the Royals regain the lead.
May not have hit it a ton, but he hit it in the right spot. Go ahead run right down the inside part of the plate. Fields challenged him. Said, all right, I got the first one. He took it by him. He's not going to swing at this one. Right by Dominguez. And the ball looked like it slowed down quite a bit, enough to get Hosmer all the way around. At first base, bringing the mail home. Hopefully that's the winner. But they're not done, as Billy Butler was replaced by Elliott Johnson as a pinch runner. Get a little bit of speed out there with one out. Got a chance for a little insurance.
So Billy facing a guy he had never seen before, takes a fastball for a strike, takes a changeup for a strike, and with the count 0-2,
mistake.
Right up the third base and left field line.
Give him anything that good, not to Billy.
Kane takes a little bit outside. So that run is charged to Wesley Wright. Elliott Johnson now running at second base for Butler. Eric Hosmer with the bloop single to get this thing going against Wright. And then Fields on. He gives up the double, but the run is charged to Wright.
Elliott Johnson's 8 for 8 this year stealing bases. Never know.
One and one.
Marwin Gonzalez, the second baseman, was trying to get Fields' attention, saying, hey, look now, keep an eye on him. Making a motion. And then there's Pedro Grifol talking with Billy Butler. Billy showing him his biceps. Saying, I'm so strong. I hooked it by Dominguez with no problem. Look at it.
I had to show him my shoulder. Two and one. It's a story for another time, but sometime I'll tell you how Pedro Grifol sent me to the operating room.
So it's, well, we can get that in another time.
That's another time.
Okay.
And I've got the scar to prove it.
I mean, maybe we could get you and Pedro on a little bit of interview. And
I think I remember that story more vividly than he does. 3 balls, 1 strike. Pedro Grifol is in the Royals dugout as the assistant hitting coach. And if he looks over to the Astros dugout, and hanging out in about the same area he is is Eduardo Perez, who is the Astros bench coach, and they were college teammates at Florida State. And now here they are, both big league coaches. Three and two.
Well, that's a good spot there.
It seems like the league, there's Eduardo Perez, the son of the Hall of Famer Tony Perez. The league has been pitching Lorenzo Cain consistently right there. Down and away, down and away, down and away.
They should, especially if they saw what he did last night. That fastball middle in. They'll try to repeat that same location.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, especially, in this counts 3 and 2, got one by it. He believes he can do it again.
Grounds it out to Gonzalez at second base. So that's the second out. Johnson moves up to third. And now David Lowe digs in for the fourth time. 0 for 3 so far with a couple of strikeouts. Josh Fields was drafted by the Astros in the Rule 5 draft this past offseason from the Boston Red Sox organization. Left center field, it will drop for a base hit. A sliding miss by Martinez, and Lowe hustling into second base and was able to keep his right hand on the bag. And the Royals have a 2-run lead in the 8th inning.
All right, and you just chip one in there. All right, he's up there scrapping. That's a high fastball. He stayed on top. He really had to alter his swing to get that top head on it. Okay, he saw it deflect off of the glove. But the left fielder, he comes home, and now he sees it, and I'm going to go for second. Almost overslid with that momentum. So not only does he knock in an insurance run, he saved 2 off of James Shields' bat to end the 6th inning. A beautiful diving catch out there in the gap. So David Lowe, he's got a license to drive tonight. Okay, check it out here now. I didn't think he was going to get to this ball. Took a funny route to it, but he ends up with a beautiful play. 2 guys on, they would have both scored had he missed that. James Shields says, man, that's my guy. Thank you. And he chipped in there. Royals looking for their 3rd in a row.
All of David Lowe's RBIs this year have come with 2 outs. 2 balls and no strikes on Tejada.
He's a machine.
If this were hockey, there is a statistic in hockey, the plus-minus statistic, and it keeps track of every skater when they're on the ice. How many goals are scored for and how many goals are scored against. So when you're out there, are you in the plus or are you in the minus? David Lowe is very much in the plus category tonight as far as runs saved and runs produced.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. He's done it with a little bit of flair. With a diving catch, got a little Trevor Turf grass stains on him. You see a nice view there of Holland right on top. And that slide into second base there. That was a little bit of a flare. As he almost overslid, rolled over, enjoyed it. The Kauffman crowd here. Beautiful crowd tonight. Enjoyed the roar of the crowd. Tell you, the roar of the crowd, that's addicting. Players love that. They're like, you know what, I can't wait to do something big again. They're entertainers. Work the people.
And now ball 4 on 4 pitches to Miguel Tejada. A lot going on here tonight. It is girls' night out, and several of the ladies wearing pink KC caps. It is Buck night. We have fireworks after the game. And by the way, it is just a beautiful weather night to be outside anywhere. And almost 25,000 here tonight at Kauffman Stadium. And 7,000 of those tickets were sold today. So the tickets, which are referred to as walk-up tickets, meaning fans who decided they wanted tickets today and bought them at the ballpark, over 7,000 of those here tonight.
Yeah, you know, I got here a little late because I was in that traffic on 70, that accident they had there. And I got in late and I saw all the people lined up. And I'm like, man, it's beautiful. They're coming to experience a winning ball club as of late.
Watching the Royals rally in the bottom of the 8th. Royals took the lead in the 4th, 2-1. The Astros tied it with 2 outs in the 7th, and now 2 runs in the 8th, hoping for more. 2 on, 2 out for Chris Getz, who has a bunt single tonight. And he takes high, ball 1.
Okay, Chris Getz has been tinkering with his stance almost every game. Last night he had a little more bend in his knees. Tonight he's more upright. He might even be doing it in different at-bats in one game. Whatever feels comfortable to you. He's upright. He's up there. He says he likes to feel the leverage his lower half gives him when he stands straight up.
Into left center. Barnes started in before going back to make the play. And that brings the 8th inning to an end. Billy Butler has 2 doubles tonight. He drives in another run tonight. David Lowe has a hustling double to add another run. And the Royals lead by 2 to the 9th.
Do it, Billy!
Great crowd, fireworks coming up, and Boulevard Royals Live. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery getting ready for that. We will break down the performance of James Shields tonight. Not a lot of run support again, but the offense able to get something done here late in the 8th inning for the 2nd straight night. That and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. And Ryan, how about this since the lineup change? The 2, 3, and 4 hole, 15 for 32, 10 runs and 8 RBIs.
Wow. Well, the Royals are on their way to another win with that lineup change. And the production in the middle of the order tonight. Hosmer, number 2 hitter, 2 runs scored. Perez, 2 RBIs and a home run. Number 4 hitter, Billy Butler, 2 doubles, an RBI and a run scored. So Holland will get Matt Dominguez, Marwin Gonzalez, and Brandon Barnes in the 9th inning.
Yeah, if it's working, stay with it. Same way with Holland. Fastball, split finger slider. Those are all working. Strike one's his best pitch, he'll tell you. Confident. Doesn't show a lot of emotion.
And a little check swing. Holland gets to it before it goes foul, and then he had more time to grab it out of his glove and with his bare hand get it to Hosmer. But hey, little flash never hurt anybody. Fans enjoy that.
It's a little highlight flip.
Let's go back out to Rivals and Toby Cook.
Hey, Ryan, the broadcast auction is about ready to wrap up. We hope so, like in 2 outs. You've got a couple of more minutes maybe to get your last bids in. We're up to about $52,000 on the board. We have some ticket packages. We are very happy not to go to the bottom of the ninth. We want to win it right here, but this broadcast auction ends last of the ninth, and we're looking forward to a Royals win, and we've made a lot of money tonight.
Sweet.
Wow, that board looks good. Thank you, Toby.
Love it. How about the broadcast experience is pumped up here the last inning? $5,000. Love it. Can't wait till you folks come up and hang out with us. Holland can't wait to get that save.
One and one on Gonzalez.
Okay, this is you got to get this out, but why even go to your hand? Look at Hosmer kind of looked at him like, really?
That's the kind of play a flashy middle infielder makes.
That's right. It's a little flip. There's a game that a lot of players play before batting practice. They get out there and you can't use your open hand. You can only use your glove, and they flip it to one another out of their gloves. I don't know. I don't see a lot of that anymore. But
flip, and they called it flip, right?
It's a flip game, yeah. So, but that's kind of where that comes from. And he's confident to make the play. Go ahead and do it.
Center field, not well hit. Kane makes a play, 2 down in the ninth. Tomorrow's game will not be televised on Fox Sports Kansas City. It will be televised on the Fox network. So Fox 4 here in Kansas City. Baseball night in America. Pre-game coverage begins at 6 o'clock. The game starts at 6:15. And HUD will be here in the booth, joined by Justin Kutcher. So join us tomorrow night on the Fox network.
Chance for the Royals to get 3 in a row here, and possibly tomorrow's game would be 4. But let's see. That's first things first here. Got 1 out to go. Fans on their feet.
Good pitch over the outside to Brandon Barnes, who has 2 hits, and he has scored one of the Astros runs.
Last couple of games, Ned's been able to get the back end of his bullpen in order because they've had a lead.
And now 1 strike away from the Royals winning another game, scoring that magic number of runs, 4. The Royals, when they score 4 or more runs, are 18-5. And hoping to improve that to 19-5. One ball, 2 strikes. James Shields went 7, gave up 2 runs. He'll take a no decision. Right now the pitcher of record is Kelvin Herrera, who pitched a scoreless 8th, and Greg Holland hoping to get his 11th save. Got him looking. Well, the last 2 nights would remind you of the Royals' great run in April. Come from behind win, scoring runs late, good pitching, just enough offense, and a win.
And don't forget that catch from David Lowe that saved a couple of runs. So the defense was evident as well. But our forward play of the game, it's got to be no other than Mr. Billy Butler. Billy came up. He wanted to make something happen. There it was. The go-ahead run. He had couple doubles on the evening, scored a run. And Eddie Rodriguez is getting that arm loose as Hosmer comes all the way from first base on that double. Nice job. Good running. Great hit, Billy. Keep it up.
So a crowd of almost 25,000 on a beautiful Friday night, waiting for the fireworks show and enjoying a Royals 4-2 win. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
Well, second straight night, guys, that they get it done in the 8th inning, and it was Eric Hosmer getting on. It was Billy Butler delivering. This lineup's looked a bit different with Eric batting second, you batting fourth. A lot of production. Tell me how things have changed.
Well, a streak started, and that's that's pretty big, and it doesn't matter what line.
Billy, we're getting used to this, aren't we? You dry?
Hey, we can get used to it.
You dry?
Dry, I'll dry.
No, you're not.
They should have got you.
They should have got me. They missed on May 5th. All right, Billy, let's talk about that, though. He gets on, you knock him in. Perez has been hitting. How has the lineup change affected things for you guys?
I don't know. I just think we got a good flow going. It's a good streak to be on. We had a tough May. We all know that. And, we're just happy to be winning in front of the crowds here.
Yeah, you got the big crowd, and you also were able to get the offense late. How frustrating was it, again, not to be able to get James that win because he pitched so well, but able to come back?
Shields has pitched great all year, and, unfortunately we couldn't get him to win. We all wanted to, so, it's tough. He's pitched fantastic all year, and it's just unfortunate.
All right, I got to ask you before I let you go, and I don't know if the fans could see it here or not, but they saw it at home. The Billy's barbecue sauce looked like it was a good luck charm there in the dugout, and it was creeping its way out to the track, and guys were holding on to it and hugging it and all that. What's going on?
It was all Jeremy Guthrie. He was all about it, and he was running with it tonight.
It's the rally sauce. Billy will let you go and bring in Eric Hosmer. Good job.
All right, thanks, guys.
Billy Butler with the game-winning RBI, but it all starts out with the number 2 hitter, Eric Hosmer, and again making a difference in the 8th inning for the second straight night. How much are you enjoying this role as the 2 hitter?
I'm loving it. As long as we keep bringing these W's in, I'm just trying to get on for Salvi and Billy and these big guys to knock me in. So worked out well for us tonight, and Billy coming through with the big hit like he always does.
And then there was some defense too, and we haven't had a chance to ask you, but how about the play of your good buddy David Lowe out there in right field?
Oh man, he the way he went and got that ball, and especially for Shieldsy there, he's pitching, he's giving everything he's got, and we really try to get him that win, but you really get fired up out there, especially when a guy makes a great catch like that, and he's been playing real well for us, and he's a great player. More to come.
Last thing, did you get a little bit of that barbecue sauce too? I mean, I saw Salvi was actually kind of hugging it a little bit.
No, I'm going to go get my fixin' right now with this post-game spread. I'm all over it.
Great job tonight, Eric.
All right, thanks, guys.
Eric Hosmer scores the winning run. Billy Butler knocks him in. David Lowe with the insurance, and a very happy crowd here at Kauffman Stadium. Ryan, Hud, let's go upstairs to you guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. The only thing that went wrong tonight was the whiff with the Gatorade shower. The only thing that got wet was the warning track.
That's all right. Nice miss, but not in the win column. We'll take the W. 3 in a row.